Yo, hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Cosplay Warehouse, brought to you by me, Mighty Max. First thing, I'm going to shout out my first Patreon, who's on screen right now. Thank you so much for being the first Patreon, it means the world to me. If any of you would like to help me out and this channel, hit the subscribe button and like this video for me, it really makes a difference. And if you want to go a step further to help me out and get some templates, then become a Patreon today. You'll get access to all my templates for $5 a month. And that's a great price. Thanks, PewDiePie. Alrighty, without further ado, let's make Tanjiro's sword. Disclaimer, this sword is a foam prop which is convention safe and is in no way meant to be used as a weapon. So, firstly, you're going to need all your tools and materials. By the way, should mention before we get into that, you're also going to need to think about what size you want your sword to be, because you need to know what size the blade needs to be. You also need to know what size the handle needs to be. But once you've got that down, then you'll be fine. So, you're going to need to get all your tools and materials. You're going to need some EVA foam. I use gym mats, a lightweight bendable metal rod. Mine came off a broken error. A sander or sandpaper. Obviously, if you have an electric sander, it's going to be a lot quicker. But you can just use sandpaper. Either works, but sandpaper takes longer. Now, you're going to need something to use as a handle. I used this super stiff rubber hose type thing I found, which was just scrap. You're also going to need some black laces. You can pick these up anywhere. A hot glue gun, and lots of glue. Now, for the tools, you'll need a heat gun to seal the foam, markers to make a template for the foam, sharp cutting knives, and you're also going to need some rubber like Plasti Dip spray paint. I Plasti Dipped everything in this build, so I Plasti Dipped the guard, and I Plasti Dipped the blade, and I think that's it. But basically, yeah, I Plasti Dipped everything that was foam in this build, so just you shouldn't just know that. Okay, so firstly I want to mention that the foam I'm using here is actually the wrong type of foam. It's supposed to be EVA foam to work, but you can copy the way I draw out the sword. Just pretend that it's the black EVA foam from the beginning. Now you should know there is a slight curvature to Tanjiro's sword, so make sure you slightly bend the metal rod, but not too far. Take it slowly, because the metal rod might snap if you bend it back the other way too much. Okay, so once you think you've got a good curvature to the metal rods and you think you've got a pretty good drawing, then make sure to draw out and cut out the blade shape. I did this with one side and then I mirrored it to the other side, cut both out and glued them together with the metal rod in between. Also, make sure to leave some of the rod out of the bottom of the blade to stick into the handle, otherwise you're not going to have anything to glue the handle to the blade and it's not going to look right.
Say sorry. Oh, maybe I'll leave, baby, but you know I never will. No.
Okay, now that they're all glued together, just double check the seams are perfectly glued together before you start sanding, and now you can sand your blade. I used an electric sander and it made things 10 times as fast, but doing it by hand is fine. But make sure not to sand down the blade too far, otherwise it will get too thin and will start sort of breaking up and become super fragile. So yeah, just don't sand it too far. Then once you're happy with the edge, then you can heat it up with a heat gun and give the blade some final shaping. Then, once you've hit it with Plasti Dip or whatever it is that you have, a rubber spray paint, then you can also spray it with silver spray paint first. I used chrome. Then I painted on the black spray paint by hand with a brush and it worked really well. I just figured masking it would be a bit annoying, but you can do either. Then once you're happy with it, stick the metal rod that's sticking out to something sturdy that will be inside the handle. It could be a piece of metal like what I used because it was just a bit of junk that I had, or you could use wood if you prefer, but you need to be able to stick the metal rod to this piece that's going to sit inside the handle. Otherwise, it's just going to be flopping about everywhere and it's not going to look right. Now, you can make the sword guard. Now, here's the template here. It's literally up on screen. It's really easy. The template's easy, but the thing that was difficult and tedious was actually cutting out the individual parts, but you can do it. It's not that difficult. It's possible. Okay, so now that you've cut out the sword guard, you can heat it up, spray it with Plasti Dip or whatever it is that you want to spray it with. Once you've got that, you can then stick it on the bottom of the blade. This is like just before the handle starts. Okay, and now put the outer piece of the handle on and start filling with hot glue. This will take a long time to harden, but it really secures the blade in very well. Now mask off the underside of the guard and spray the handle red, and also spray some laces black if you didn't have any, because I didn't have any black laces, okay? I'm sorry, I had white laces, so I needed to spray them black. Jeez. Once that's all dry, you can start wrapping the sword handle with the laces. Now, I couldn't get the exact pattern like on Tanjiro's sword, but you'll be holding it anyway, so does it really matter? Also, a tip is to wear gloves and super glue the laces to the handle as you go so it doesn't come undone. Then cut a small strip of EVA foam to wrap around the blade just above the guard out of thin EVA foam, and there you go. Tanjiro's sword is finished. It was honestly a pretty easy build. The most frustrating and time-consuming part was the lace wrapping, but other than that, it was really easy. Also, if you guys want to know how to make Tanjiro's earrings, I have a video in the description. And also, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Absolutely smash the like button. Stay tuned for more videos just like this, guys. I'll be creating so many more videos because we're in lockdown at the moment, so that's going to be great. Also, comment your score of Demon Slayer in the comments section below if you made it this far, and you guys are greatly appreciated. I love you all. Stay mighty. Kush.